quiet. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? How's your day going? We are going to try and start something new. Tuesday through Thursday, I'm really going to try and do 3 hours, or at least 2.5 hours, 8 to 10:30, 8 to 11, because there's so many good trades in the 8 to 9 hour, especially for the kind of trading that I want to do with you guys. And I want to do lots of intelligent, high frequency trading. So this is going to give us lots of opportunities to basically see these trades in action, for you guys to get a good idea of what I'm trying to do. I've actually spec'd out pretty much most of the models. So, for those of you guys who were on stream with me yesterday, it was a challenge to say the least, right? It was really, really, I went through, I think, about 19 consecutive losses yesterday, trying to do something that really, really actually works. And it took me probably yesterday's nightmare session, which, by the way, ended up positive when all is said and done. I came back from the dead. Sorry. But I was trying to do something that I couldn't quite verbalize. And yesterday's session really helped me verbalize the whole idea of what I want to do. And I'm going to basically explain to you the underlying thesis, both in structure, in format, and in money management. I even have a working model of, where is it? Where's my working model? Here it is. A working model that will tell you how to configure and analyze this particular trading strategy. But before I get into everything, let's just kind of calm down and take a look at what I have in mind. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, everybody. I'm early, so the crew is just coming in, which is fine. We'll we'll repeat everything at the 9 o'clock hour. But for those of you guys who are here early, I am going to show you the underlying structure of what I'm trading, and I think you guys are going to really, really like it. So the basic idea of what we do here. Hang on just 1 second, guys. I'm gonna close the door so I have total peace. Hang on. All right, the doggies came back in the room, so now I have peace and quiet. Okay, so if you think about what all good trading, you think is really all about picking trends, but it's actually all about picking turns. Every good trend starts at a turn, right? Every good trend basically starts at a turn. And the idea of good trading is to pick good turns. So my whole strategy using the candles and the dots is to just identify as many turns as possible. That's step one. Now, many of those turns are going to be false. They're going to be false turns, false breakouts, false breakdowns, right? Which is fine, because I have a step two to combat that. But let me kind of just walk you through what I have in mind. So a typical turn trade that's in our arsenal is, let's say, a blue candle followed by a white dot. That shows, weakness to the sellers and a breakout to the buyers right over here, right? And this is a classic turn trade that goes, in this case, goes nowhere, right? Now, why do I like this trade, whether it's wins or loses? I like this trade because the setup is very clean. There is no interpretation here. You have a blue dot, you have a white, you have a blue candle, white dot. It creates a natural turn dynamic. Now, whether that dynamic works or not is immaterial. What is material is that because this is a turn dynamic, we also have a natural stop. That's the other aspect of this. You have a repeatable pattern with a logical stop, right? You know where the stop is. So your risk is defined intelligently. Your setup is defined intelligently. And all you can do then is just simply try to, find the trade that works. So the wrinkle that I introduced to the whole idea is that I'm taking this setup at 1x on this situation, right? I get stopped out. Then I have a setup right over here, my secondary setup right over here. This setup actually conceivably could work because the stop is very, very small. So my target is always some proportion of the stop. That's the other thing. Everything is dynamic. So let's say, I don't know, for argument's sake, stop is 5, and maybe the target is just 5, or maybe the target is 4. You can make it R. You can make it a little bit less than R. You don't want to make it any worse than 0.7 R. But you know, anywhere within that region, you can be okay. So, but the point is that, like, now I'm going to go 2x over here, and I win. Great. Now this whole cycle is resolved because these losses over here are essentially washed away, and I've actually made a little bit of a profit here, maybe, possibly, right? So now let me just kind of get rid of this. Now, you know, we continue with the chart. You know, we're watching it, and here, you know, I don't have a blue candle, but I do have a clear decline and a dot. So here I could continue taking my turn trade. Sorry, shit. Let me mark this. Continue taking my turn trade to the upside. Again, defined risk, right? In this case, I don't know, was it 32 against 14, 15-point risk to a 15-point target. 37, yeah, it more than makes it. It's more than a 1 hour target, right? And maybe this is 1x, or maybe I got stopped here, I got stopped here, and maybe this is 3x. It doesn't matter. The point is, because I'm starting with like one MNQ or 2 MNQs. It's a very, very, very small progression of size, and all of this essentially resolves into a profit. That is literally it, with the exception of, like, obviously everything else that goes into it that is a lot more complicated. So I've created, guys, stop. I created a whole what I would call prop trading modeling calendar, modeling calculator. They can tell you, well, you know, what do you think is my actual resolution rate? What do you think? How many sequences do I want to do? Do I want to do 3 sequences, 4 sequences, 5 sequences? You know, what's my maximum sequences? And you could literally see, and this is the amount. And let's say I have 10 accounts traded. How many of those accounts will actually get to funding using? In this case, I was using Apex modeling, you know, Apex 25 probability. But what I'm actually going to do is create user-defined rules for probability, which means that you can then use any prop shop probability rules and give you a good idea of probability. Now, all of this, by the way, is just a model. It's by no means a given. A lot of your inputs will vary very widely in real life. But what this does is it gives you a super realistic idea of size, structure, win rate, and possibility of passing using this particular strategy. And the strategy is incredibly robust. If you just simply, I mean, the most important thing you'll see is smaller sizing, lots of sequences, and any kind of a, you know, a resolution of win rate. And I generally, when I'm basically, you know, handicapping a lot of this stuff, the resolution win rate for me is anywhere between like 57 to 60% resolved. And because I can go to 4 or 5 sequences, means, you know, if I lose one, I go to the next sequence, to the next sequence, to the next sequence. It's very difficult for me to blow up my account. And it's also, by the way, the other interesting thing about this model is that it will tell you. So this is, for example, starts out with baseline of 4 MNQs. But if I start out with 1 MNQ, one MNQ, you see that there is a bust out loss of only 120. And if I go to, hang on, let me just figure this out. No, let me minimize my target here. Let's make it worse. Let's make it like 9, and you know, we'll raise the win rate to like 60. And you see that, you know, my bust out rate here is only 120, and you know, with Apex, the bust out rate is 500, right? So let me just see if I can push this to, if I'm using one contract, using 8 points. Maybe if I increase my sequences, yeah. No. What I want to do is cycles. I want to increase my cycles. 4 cycles, 5 cycles, 6 cycles. Look at this. I can go to 6 cycles before I get close to shutting down for the day. And because my expected EV is still positive, my actual P&L is positive. Now this is just me doing five effectively trades per day, and I'm going to do 30 because there's a trade every 15 minutes. So let's just say, I don't know, let's just make it to 20 trades, right? 20 trades per day. What does that work out? That's like 84 a day. It takes me 20 days to basically reach target, right? And under these conditions, with just little 1 micro, 9.6 of 10 possible accounts. Let's degrade this even by 50%. That means 5 out of 10 accounts get paid out. This is the payout calculator. So it's really, really cool. It's not ready for public consumption. It's really going to be ready for coaching. So for those of you people who want to come to coaching with me tonight, I will be, tonight is coaching night. So if you want to sign up, let me give this to you. Oops, hold on a second. So this is my coaching link. Please come if you want, because I'm really going to deconstruct this in a much, much more deeper fashion for coaching students. And you're going to really understand how you can totally beat the prop. You can absolutely beat the prop. You can pass the prop and then beat the prop with this very, very methodical trading structure. Now, as far as just day-to-day trading, or just my job in terms of trying to do stuff for my own accounts today, we're going to trade my funded accounts starting 1 micro size. And what we're going to do is, here's my portfolio. We're going to, the game plan today is, which account is this? Sorry, I just need to expand this. Wait, which one? Where's the account? Oh, here's the account number. Oh, it's a 70. All right, fuck this. I don't care about this account. I'm gonna trade these funded accounts over here. And the game plan that I'm gonna try and do, I already hit the I'm gonna try and hit the next 100 number. So in this case, I hit the next 100. It was 5,500. Now I'm at 600. Great. I'm gonna go to the next account, which is the 50 account, and see if we can run this one to the 600 number. That's going to be my game plan. We'll see how long it takes. Maybe it'll take the whole session. Maybe it'll take less. But the game plan is we're going to try and trade my turn trades, and in this sequence, and we're going to see if we can run this up to the 600. That's going to be the game plan. Every single account to the next 100. This makes it very, very easy to run the book towards target, right? And that's going to be the game plan as we're trading. Everybody clear? So right now, nothing much on the charts except this. We have blue candle, small, we're basically just range bound near the VWAP after big rally to the 800. Now we sold off to the 750, and now I'm just trying to find, I'm just trying to trade the turn. So the turn for me in this particular case is going to be wherever the low is over here against either a white dot that's going to materialize, or the other way that I want to trade the turn is a close above the purple candle. This is the last purple candle. Basically, the idea is if the purple candle gets beaten to the upside, that's a turn. You can see, like, right over here. See this purple candle that gets beaten to the upside right over here? This particular trade, that was actually the trade that I took earlier that you saw me. This was the, oh, you didn't, it's in a different account. It was in this account. Yeah, this was the trade. We beat the purple candle, boom, straight up, nice quiet, nice quiet turn. So let's wait patiently and see how we can play this out. Any questions on what we're doing? So the idea is all of our stops are organic, all of our targets are organic, but within a reason, obviously. We're trying to trade the turns. Most of them hopefully will be positive turns to the upside, but we'll trade the turns to the downside too. And because we have natural stops, like here's a natural stop coming up. Here's a white dot candle, that follows the blue candle over here. You see the blue candle over here. And this is a white dot candle, or if this candle actually closes above 35, I believe. What's the high on this thing? Yeah, if we're closing 36 or above, or just a white dot candle, it's pretty much the same thing. That's going to trigger a turn trade for us. So 13 seconds, we're kind of running. Starting this out, I'm going to start this out at 1 micro, and then we'll see how this cycle goes. Now, the great thing about wealth charts is they instantly tell you your risk and point. Oh, here we go. Buy. Your risk and points. So, like, I know if I move if this is my stop. My stop is around 20 points. That means my target needs to be at least about 15. For this to be kind of a viable trade. And now this is literally the thing that made me realize what I was doing wrong and why this strategy works, which is many of you are going to have a temptation to average down into this trade. Maybe it'll dip 10 points against you, and you're gonna be, oh, maybe if I average down, I'll be able to average, I'll be able to average out myself out of this trade. Do not do it. Having tested all of these trades literally hundreds of thousands of times, the single worst thing you can do in scalping is averaging down into a position. Something like 3 out of 4 or 2 out of 3 of those average trades are just losing trades, right? That means only 1 out of 3 recover. So the odds are really, really against. It's very tempting, but it's a really stupid thing. It's much better to let the trade stop out and enter the second trade at larger size. Your probability of success on a next trade will be much greater than your probability of success on this trade. Is already, if it comes down against you, is already a loser, and you're adding to the loser. It's the great Paul Tudor Jones statement: losers average losers. And God knows I used to love doing that. That's the single greatest money management saving that I've done. It's been remarkable because you get better benefits out of doing 2x on the next trade than you do in terms of averaging into a position. It's also much easier to manage stuff because you don't have to watch the screen all the time. You're like, okay, this is it. My stops, my targets. I'm gonna let this cycle play out, and then if it doesn't play out, we come back to the next cycle, and so on and so forth. And that's how you build the P&L in the account. It's really, really cool. When all the pieces fit together, it's really, really cool. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? I see people crawling into the room. I know I opened it up early. I'm going to try and get everybody used to the Tuesday, Thursday schedule of 8 to 11 so that we can trade longer and better. But glad to have you guys coming in. I just explained my turn trade structure, which we will see. We'll see it over and over and over again today. Are we early tomorrow for yes? I'm gonna, NFP tomorrow is gonna be. Kathy likes to start at 8:15, but I'm actually gonna start at 8 tomorrow because I want to explain the new straddle. I want to take the time to kind of, I'm gonna try and do a lot of pre prep tomorrow before she talks, so that people are, so we're not rushing. Hang on, guys. I gotta do something. Just bear with me a sec here, guys. Are we digging the trading music? Tomorrow NFB, and Saturday is prop test, so everybody be there. So yeah, I want to create longer trading sessions, Tuesday through Thursday, 8 to 11. Oh, you like the relaxing music? Oh, I'm glad you like it. I know, it's very chill. It's in sync with our new trading style, which is not going to be insane like yesterday, where I was doing 100 trades and 100 losses. I must have just spiked everybody's nerves to no end. But as always, out of pain comes promise. It was that yesterday's idea is what crystallized my whole turn structure trading that I wanted to put into play. So it was very, very valuable. All right, we're basically trading this turn trade over here, right over here, with a stop right underneath here, and we're trying to target around 53. We traded gold last night, which actually also this works on. I know you guys want to trade gold with me, but I kind of want to weave things in one at a time. I'm very, very bad at doing multitasking, unlike Kathy. Oh yeah, irrational. You're right. Yeah. True. But I also have like new tunes, so I can play some new tunes with you too. We'll play those too. We'll see how this plays out. So, anyways, we're in here on this turn trade, targeting this basically in around 7R, maybe 0.8R, whatever we can do. one. I'm going to flatten out a little bit here, just a little bit early. I want to try to, my whole idea is to try to run these accounts to the next 100. So this one is at 50, right over here. And, you know, I just want to, I'm sort of focusing on the target. So I may be cheating a little bit. And that's okay, by the way. That's the whole point, is that the model is like an ideal model. And you're always going to, you know, fail the ideal. But as long as you're following the model and you're close to it, that's really where you know, it's good enough. It's good enough for structure. That's what you really want it to be. All right, let's listen to some new people joining. I'm going to explain the setup to you guys at the 9. I'm going to explain the setup at every hour on the hour today. Actually, maybe even every half hour on the hour as new people joining, because I know we just started early today. But in the meantime, let's, you know, we'll take a little breather because we don't have any more setups for a while. So I'll play some tunes. Play a little funky tunes. I got a brand new huge desk in my office, which has literally changed my life. I love space, and it's so nice to have space for everything on my desk. Literally, what a difference. It costs $110 on Amazon, and it's completely changed my life. So this was the turn trade that we traded here, guys. It was this turn off this, you know, blue white dot, and we obviously took it all the way over here. Right there. Now we're kind of chilling. We'll have some possibilities. We'll see, right? You know, So I keep harping on this, and people completely ignoring me. And this is the reason why this is a bull market. I know I read some comments saying that like 80% of young people think this is the worst economy ever. That's because they're idiot young people who've never actually lived in a bad economy. This is one of the greatest economies we're having in a long, long time. And it's the reason why the stock market is at all-time highs. Productivity keeps rising, labor costs keep declining, and jobless claims continue surprising to the downside. All of this basically suggests that we're having a massive renaissance of U.S. economic growth that is not the way it was before, where it was cheap-ass service jobs, you know, slinging hamburgers. There's now creating manufacturing jobs, which are higher-end, higher-skill jobs, even, you know, higher-end construction jobs. All of those things are being fused with much higher productivity from AI in virtually every sector of the US economy. And that's why we're doing well. That's why profit margins are expanding. And people keep completely missing this point. Maybe I'll, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But market is looking for 60. We're probably going to surprise to the upside on the jobs as well. So having lived through really bad economies, I can tell you this is one of the greatest economies in the history of this country. I know the cost of living is expensive. I know that gas is at 4.5. Those are nothing relative to the ability for people to actually find work and earn income, which is far, far more important. And productively do well. But yes, inflation is the one drag on the economy, but in relative offset, it's minor. Anyways, that's the fundamental picture, which is why the market is a perpetual bid up. So here we have, this is an interesting trade here. We have a yellow candle, which is a pause in an uptrend, right? Pause in an uptrend. And if we get a white dot against this yellow candle, that is a buy for us. Let me show you. That is a turn buy for us to the upside. We'll take that. If we get that. If we don't, we don't. If this slams all the way down and creates a purple dot, that will be a sell turn for us. Regardless of how it shapes up, we can take the trade with natural stops. What I mean by that is the stop, if we're to the long side, the stop will be underneath here, underneath this. If we're to the short side, the stop will be somewhere around here, to the top side. So 10 seconds left. I get a white dot. I'm going to go long here. And my stop will be right underneath this candle over here. So that's a 12-point stop. So I want to beat around, probably around 9 on the target, right? Second cycle of this, we're trying to trade this turn over here, as you can see. This turn over here against this natural stop. We'll see if it goes higher towards, 70. What's my target on this thing? Somewhere around 64. Somewhere around 64. Okay. Is that clear? Everybody getting it? A lot easier to understand, right? The way I'm explaining it now. I hope so. Somebody give me a news. English, what do you mean news today? No, there's no news. We're early. I'm sorry, everybody. I thought I sent out an email, but I guess everybody missed it. That's why everybody's just straddling in. No, I really want to go to an 8 to 11 schedule Tuesday through Thursday. I want to trade more because I want to show you how to trade more cycles. The whole idea is smaller sizes, more cycles, higher average P&L per account, driving it, trading our way. So, and besides, I want to trade in the 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock hour is a good hour to trade. We never do it because it's just convention. And I'm like, why do we have to start at 9? So I'm going to change the schedule. This is, I guess, a test bed. I wanted to change it actually yesterday, but I got too busy. But yeah, this is a test bed idea, and if we like it and if it's good, and you guys like it, we'll do this every time. No, Marcy, we're long. We're literally long the trade. We're trading this tiny, which we're scalping. And I'll explain it at 9 o'clock when everybody gets into the room, because I realized that nobody's in the room today because everybody thought it was a 9 o'clock start, which is fine. I'm gonna explain from scratch the setup that we're doing. But to explain to you, we have a yellow to white, which is a bullish reversal candle. This is the stop. The stop is underneath this yellow candle, and we're just trading it to the upside. It works. It works. It doesn't work. We're going to reset ourselves to the next cycle. but this is a we're trading, turn scalp to the long side right now with actually, the big trend and the small trend. We'll see if it carries forward. We're looking for 64 on this particular trade, and so far, it's struggling a little bit, but that's where we're at. Yeah, the other thing is about coming in at 8 o'clock. I mean, I know it's brutal for the West Coast people, but it's actually really good for the Australians and the and Asia, because it's late for them. Like, this is earlier start time. They can come hang out with us before. Like, what time is it? It's 10 o'clock in the morning, Sydney, at night. Sorry, 10 o'clock at night in Sydney. So it's not. I mean, 10:46. So it's not horrible. We start at 10 at night instead of starting at 11 at night. That makes it a lot easier. Hey, astrologer, how are you? Oh man, everybody really straggling in today. That's funny. I was like, how come nobody's in the room? And then I'm like, oh, because you started at 8 o'clock and you didn't let anybody know. So now everybody's coming in. All right, good to see you guys. Nice to have you. I'm going to explain exactly what we're doing at around the 9 o'clock hour when everybody comes in. So looks like this particular. So here's the interesting part. This actually now turns into a reversal pattern the other way, right? We have 23 seconds. If I get stopped out, let me show you. Remove 6 tries. If I get stopped out, remember my stop is underneath here, and I'm not moving my stop. It's a natural stop. If I get blown out, I'm only exiting if my stop is hit. However, if it's not hit here, maybe it's hit on the next candle. What is actually setting up is back to the short reversal, yellow to purple the other way, with a natural stop over here. So let's see what happens, right? It's choppiness. It still looks like it's an upward trend, which is why I'm basically holding my stop here, and I'm not flipping my trade. My long trade has not been stopped out yet, so there's no reason to take the short trade. But if it gets stopped out, I will take the short trade, and then that will suggest to me the price action wants to go towards the VWAP. We'll see. And if it doesn't matter, because it's only the second out of like 5 or 6 cycles that I have in my arsenal to be able to try to resolve this trade. So I will explain this in more detail when I see when at 9 o'clock. But now we're just kind of basically chilling. Good morning, Miguel. Good morning, Miguel. Good morning, everybody. Second white dot. I just realized my new desk is so big, I could actually put the espresso machine on my desk, which is a very dangerous thought in my mind right now. But I actually could do it. I could do this. That will definitely be a bad thing. Hey, Miguel. Good morning, everybody. Who's new in the room here today? I know we're starting early, but if you're new in the room, 9 o'clock, I'm going to explain to you exactly what I'm doing. Again, we're targeting the 64 level here. Howdy. Gene, good morning. Michael, good morning. Howdy. Michael, when did we suddenly turn Green Acres here? Oh my God, I just realized that's a reference that almost nobody who's not old is going to get. Oof, big reversal. Second purple dot, all right? Second purple dot, right? Just market not loving this upside. So again, my stop is underneath here. If it gets hit, it gets hit. Otherwise, I'm chilling. I'm chilling in the trade. It's the place to be. Boom. Okay, I'm stopped out. Now we're going to go to, and we're going to sell against the natural stop over here, right? So that's a 12-point risk against probably a 10-point target. See if we can make a 10-point target, 9.75 target. Okay. I'm flipping the trade because the trade, I mean, and it could very well be chop, which is fine. It doesn't matter. It's only the second in my cycle. But as I was trying to explain, this is my horrible. So first we were long yellow to white and didn't just didn't quite get up there, right? And now we have yellow to purple, which is a short trade with this natural stop over here. You know, and if it wants to yank me, it will yank me. So the stop is right above here, and we're obviously targeting the move down here towards probably like the 30, 730. See if we get it, or the market just wants to chop and drop and chop and pop. At which point I'll just simply stay patient with the market and wait for the next signal to go. This very, very tight range is going to break out one way or the other. It's going to give me, and the dots are going to give me the signal. And when they do, they're going to give me eventually a continuation signal. So in the meantime, I'm taking the signals, assuming there'll be a continuation, but fully aware that maybe this particular cycle, that's not going to happen. So we'll see. The very cool thing about this is it's very clear, definitive. You have the candles, you have the trigger signal, you have all the things that give you the clues. Now, sometimes they're inaccurate, but eventually they become accurate. And as long as you can keep your size under control, you will resolve it. Thought I would trade silver today. We've never traded silver in my life, my friend. Silver is ridiculous to trade. It's a huge lever, terrible fills. I never even looked at it. We occasionally we trade gold, but as I said, I have a hard time keeping my focus on a million different things. So I just primarily trade NQ, and especially for this setup, I really want everybody to get into the rhythm. This is a very easy setup to master once you've done it about 5 or 10 or 20 times. But I wanted everybody to do this at least 20, 30 times with me before they begin to understand how the chart plays out according to our rules, and then explain it. It's almost 9 o'clock. People crawling into the room. Just because it broke its last downward trend line during Asia session today. Yeah, that's great. And it's probably, a valid break. The thing is, Marcus, we scalp. Our attention span is on a next 1 minute chart. So we will go long and short probably 20 times in either direction. Very, very easily. It's completely immaterial to us which way we go. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Just again to show you the sequence of how I resolved the trade. You see, I was long, I got stopped. Now I'm short, and the trade not only resolved but paid for itself. Right? I took a little bit early exit because this is very, very choppy markets. And this is exactly what I mean about the model is an ideal model, and then it's really up to you to kind of trade it realistically, because the markets, you have like this platonic vision of how price structure should work, and then you have the realistic human element, which is where you come in and manage. So I kind of managed this particular trade. So as I said, the goal with this particular, we took the first account to the 100, the 61 account to the 600 level. Let's take the 50 account to the 600 level also. That's the game. That's the target of the day today, and then just move on after that using all same techniques that that we talked about. NQ loves the 25 increments, 50, 70. Yeah, I mean, I think it's true. Like, I think it loves it definitely loves the round numbers very well. Oh, and this is, by the way, like it's a really good example of why this strategy is so really cool. All right, so we have a break in the action. Although I'm kind of watching this, the next possible trade for us in terms of structure is, we have a blue candle showing us a possible upside bias, and what we're looking for would be like a white dot. And if we can, if this doesn't break lower, if we get like kind of a white dot to the upside, that would be our turn to the upside trade. Next turn to the upside trade that we're going to take. So the idea that I want to share with you today is basically the concept that every trend is a turn trade. It's just simply a hidden turn trade. What I mean by this is this. Let's say this is an upward trend, right? Where does the trend started? It started from this turn over here, right? Just like here's a downward trend, right? What are the downward trend? It started with this turn over here and had a whole bunch of turns to the downside, and a couple of failed turns to the upside, until eventually the upside turn succeeded, and then we had upside turns. But if you sort of look at the price action, it's not complicated. You see that all price action follows this undulating up and down wave structure, right? One way or the other. That's incontrovertible. Anybody who looks at price action understands that. So the thing that's cool about our how do I get rid of this? Can I? Okay. The thing that's cool about our setup is that it basically visually helps us ride every wave of the market. Right now we have an upward wave here that's formulating, and as long as it holds, it gives us an entry with a stop at 39 underneath this natural low, natural stop. 24 seconds left. As long as the white dot holds, and then we're going to try and trade it back up towards the 60s on the next wave higher, right? So let's see what we can do here. What do we have? 10, 11 seconds. Let's see if the white dot holds. Oh, and I got to go down 1. I'm going to enter 1. There we go. 2. We're in. So now, again, what I think I love about wealth charts is it tells you exactly your risk in points, which means now I can create my reward in points at around equal distance is good, but I like to do a 0.7 R, which would be very, very nice. If we can get that, we'll be in good shape. We're looking like, I guess, towards a 58 target. How do you take partials on wealth chart? Oh, great question, and I wish I freaking knew the answer to that. I gotta. It's one of those things that that I need to find out. Does anybody? Because that's actually a very intelligent way of trading my strategy. Because occasionally you're going to get these massive runners, and you could totally capitalize on those massive runners. I'm just simply keeping it single entry, single exit structure, but partial exits would be a really, really good thing to do. And look at it now, now reversing, right? And it's just, you have to just expect a lot of chop in this market. This market is just giving you virtually nothing. Now, there's some kind of news here, or something just happened that stopped me out to the other side, and I'm going to try and go, because now that it stopped me out, I'm going to go short this way against this natural stop. So now it's a 16, probably against a 9, 10 entry. Let's see if we can. Let's see if this thing works. I don't know if this looks very news driven. So I am completely happy, trying to take this turn trade on a second size. Let's see if this is actually going to capitalize. I don't know. Let me see what happened here. Do we have any news? Is there some announcement? It's so annoying. I don't know how to trying to kill this. No effective Fed rate. No, I guess there's no news. It was just a reversal. All right, we'll stay with the reversal. Sellers clearly kind of pressured back down to the VWAP, so I'll trade the reversal trade. Oh yeah, Ben is right. You can do, which I haven't done, but you could actually set up what's called a this is a simple bracket, but you can do a multi-bracket, which is exit 1, exit 2, exit 3, and you probably could put a trailing, stop to break even on 1, 2, 3. I don't want to do that because it's already complicated enough to try to keep track of sizing, but for people who are very advanced, this is definitely a great way of trading. Absolutely, So what's my target here? 31. I'm targeting 31. Let's see if we can get that going. This drives me crazy. Very choppy price action. That's fine. I will. I'll hold, and if it takes me out to the upside, we'll go the other way. That's the beauty of having size and patience on your side. But let's see, maybe we can resolve this. Oh, right there, got it resolved. Okay, good enough. So that's just resolve. I obviously, in a perfect world, I really always want to resolve in 2. No worse than 3, but sometimes you got to go 4. It depends on how the market price action is, and you have to. And the key thing is that as long as you have small size, you can resolve this. So this is actually a good time because I don't think I'm going to have a setup for the next 5-10 minutes to explain what I'm doing in full format. It's also everybody's finally in the room. So this is my 9 o'clock explanation, and I'll do another one at 10 o'clock as well. So as I was saying, the whole idea of trading is to trade turns. I'm actually going to be a prop fest. I'm going to talk to Logan, who's a great trader. I saw Logan make like $100,000 on a single close market close trade, just massive size in his account. And the thing is, everybody was thought that what he was doing was trading trend, but what he was actually doing was doing this. He picked the bottom. As soon as the bottom started to turn, he bought the turn, and that trade just verticalized all the way up. Every really profitable trade in trend starts a turn. So what we're trying to do on our day-to-day scalping basis is just optimize our chances of success by always trying to start from a turn where we have the biggest room to go, right? The biggest room to go up or the biggest room to go down. Because if you're starting low to high, you always have the greatest room to run. So that means your probability of success increases because you're not selling into already overbought conditions or buying into you're not buying into overbought conditions or selling into oversold conditions, right? So it's kind of momentum, but from a bottom, momentum from a top. So step number 1. And the way we do this, because with our indicator, it becomes very easy to market. We have blue candles. So the upside trade is a blue candle followed by a white dot, because and everybody can read all about it over here. Let me put the actual description of auction theory and how we. I have a whole landing page on this. I just put the link in there. Feel free to read about it in more detail about what the blue candle does, what the orange candle does, and these are all essentially clues to the changes in demand between buyers and sellers. So here, buyers kind of looking to stem the selling, and here they actually do, and we're trading that turn. And our turn, the cool thing about the setup on the turn basis is anywhere you do it, any way you do it, it always has what I call a natural stop, meaning that the swing low between these 2 points, that's your stop. And because now you know your risk is clearly defined, you can also clearly define your reward, as a percentage of risk, whether 100%, 70%, 125%, whatever you want to do. And that's going to affect your win rate and everything else that you want to have. So that's step number one. But this is not where we end. This is where everybody else ends. We just begin our trading cycle. What happens if we're wrong? This doesn't go up and we get stopped out. No problem. We just simply wait until the next setup shows up. Now, the next setup could be a positive setup or could be a negative setup. So let's imagine, for argument's sake, I lost money. I obviously made money on this, but let's imagine, just for argument's sake, I lost money on this. So the next setup that we're going to get is the well, let me actually run you. We actually ran this structure, right? Did we not run this structure? So maybe this is exactly what happened. So here's a yellow candle followed by a white dot. That's what we call a bullish reversal, and I would trade this as a turn to the upside, right? So here's a turn to the upside right over here. And actually, we made money on this one because this is a very tiny amount of risk. So I had a tiny amount of reward. Boom, let's say I make money, right? Then I'm just kind of waiting to see if there's any turns to to the negative side. And the turn to the negative side is always defined as orange to purple, right? Orange to purple. So in this particular case, I just, amuse me. I know this is not what we did, but if we had all the time in the world, we would have done this. This is orange to purple. So now we are short because this is a setup trade to the downside. Again, our risk is, this is our risk. And so our reward is going to be relatively small. Now you could make the argument, boom, we got stopped out, and then the setup reappeared again. If we get that, no problem. We just simply go 3x times on this one right over here, this candle over here, reset our stop, and now retarget our target. We can take 3, 4, 5. I can actually take up to 5, maybe even 6 sequences in order to resolve my trade. Obviously, I don't want to do that, and obviously, you want to be more selective in doing that. But sometimes in chop, you're going to get, you're going to get a lot of false breakouts. But then when things really, really start cooking, right? When they really, really start cooking, and you are trading, you're trading the upside, then every single turn signal, boom, up, 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 up works. And you're going to get 4, 5, 6, 7 trades that work. And even the reversal signals begin to work. So this is a yellow to purple. This one works on a, modified basis the other way. So it becomes here's a yellow to purple, like right over here, yellow to purple, boom, straight down, right? Then you're looking for, for a reversal signal. This would be my reversal signal. The other reversal signal that I like to do is, because there's a couple of setups. The blue to white is very, very obvious, but the other non-obvious setup that is actually quite good, and I can't even take credit for it. It was Alex in Prop Firm Match, when he was looking at my setup, and he was like, "Hey, do you realize that if this happens, you have a really, really great reversal setup?" And what he noticed was, you see the purple candles over here. The purple candles are what we call the pull-away candles. That's the sort of strength to the downside, right? But here's the thing. Once those candles are completely reversed, once the price action ends up above the high of the last purple candle, that is actually a super good reversal signal. Meaning, once the buyers can take out the highs of the ultimate sell candle, then you have a change of power, a shift in power. and you're on the buy side, and now you have a natural stop over here the other way around, right? So you have lots of different. The point being is almost every 5-10 minutes you have some legitimately interesting setup happening, unless the price action is so super dull that you don't even have any you don't have any pull away candles, you don't have any blue candles. You just it's simply flat lines completely. But today it's kind of a moderate dull price action. It's not so flat that it's impossible to trade, but it's not really the perfect price action that we love to have is when you have these 20 to 50. This is the perfect price action, because then we can buy the top, buy the bottom, sell the top, buy the bottom, sell the top. This is just money. Every single trade is money, and it's and we're done. In 1 hour we've made all the money that we can on the zigzag. Those we love, but they don't always show up. So here's one, purple to white, right? This looks like they're holding out. So let's trade this. I got to go -1 because I want to go small size. Again, I'm going to be underneath here, right? It's a 13-point risk, which means I probably want about a 10-point target, 10, 11-point target, and see if we can turn, if we can trade this turn to the upside. That's it. It's super simple. It gives you lots and lots of trade ideas, obviously, on a 1-minute chart. And with the money management, with the dots, with everything else, you pretty much have all the tools to be able to run this properly. Yeah, we're waiting for the candle to close. We always wait for the candle to close before we commit to a trade, because obviously it's not really a white dot candle unless it closes, right? Because they always, a lot of times they lie, right? They really, really lie. So you don't want to do that. So, see if we can pull this out, maybe back to the 50. I mean, honestly, the market is just churning from 730 to 750, and we're just trying to ride those tiny little waves up and down until people kind of make up their mind and start getting bigger waves. English says it's called trade every turn, the TET trade. It is kind of fractal. You're right. I haven't even thought about it. I mean, the markets are obviously very fractal on every time dimension. I have like a whole Mandelbrot section in Claude about it. So yes, it's kind of intuitively a fractal setup, but I don't want to, I don't need to complicate ideas for people with highfalutin academic finance research. This is a very clean, definitive way of trading, because your stops, your targets, you're following the natural undulation movement of the markets, and you have the dots and the candles to help you analyze them in real time, so that you can make the entries as intelligently as possible. It's really everything. That's all it is. Just a recipe for success is what I'm trying to give you guys. Yeah. $9:15. We got 15 minutes to the open, so we'll see. Again, not a lot of, I think the market is kind of quiet today. Yeah. But thanks for sharing that. It's an interesting point, English. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. People are crawling into the room. You all sleepyheads. We're up from 8 o'clock trading. I'm going to try and make this the new BK reality, 8 to 11, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so that we can put in as many trades as possible, get lots of cycle, get a lot of reps in, as my son says. Got to get our reps in, right? And see where where we can go. Because one of the interesting things about the model that I want to show you, and as I said, if you guys are in coaching, I'm gonna share this model with you in full detail. But the interesting thing about the model is the more sequences per day or reps per day you do, the faster the payout. This is, for example, I modeled it for you here. It was a 60% win rate, 6 cycles. So really like a lot of cycles, but starting with one contract. And this is the thing. At 6 cycles, I bust out. It's only at the 6th cycle that I bust out at 420, which is the max loss for the day, right? According to this is an Apex kind of a structure for our friends at Apex, which, by the way, let me do a little plug for Apex. Go buy some accounts. Guys, we gotta. What is the Apex, Ben? Is Apex done today or tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow, right? Shit, let me look this up. I want everybody to make sure that we have. Hopefully for tomorrow, they're still going to be running the promo, because let me just make sure that they're going to be running the promo, because we're definitely going to be doing a lot of promo. Oh no, shit! It's tonight. It's tonight. Do not forget. Do not forget to get this shit. Go buy some accounts right now. I'm gonna buy some accounts right now, because otherwise I'm gonna forget. Let's buy a couple of accounts right now, because we're gonna do news trading tomorrow. That's gonna be the easiest, fastest way for us to get funded. So let's do this. Hang on. Oh shit, where's my authenticator? 621-970. 621-970. Okay. Get into your Apex portal. I'm gonna buy. Here's what I'm gonna do. Should we fund? I'm trying to think of. Do I want to fund? I think I'm gonna fund. I still like the 25s. I really like trading 25s. So I'm gonna buy the 25 end of day accounts. I'm gonna buy like 2 or 3 so that we can trade them. We can trade them for news flow tomorrow and maybe the next day. So don't forget, BK Save is the code, right? And I think this one is it's only $30. So okay, let me take this off so you guys don't see my credit card info. All right, done. Yeah, and I'm gonna buy I like the wealth charts. I really like the wealth charts 25s. I know people like trade the 50s, but like trade the 25s. So here we've got 125, and I'm gonna get another one. Get them right now, because they're gonna be gone tonight, and it's we're gonna be kicking ourselves for the ability to trade news trading if we don't get them. Okay, BK Save one more time. All right, and let me take this off again. Did I tell you the story? Was it 2 days ago? I was depositing check into. Okay, very good. So everybody, please make sure you lock those down, because these are going to be very valuable. We're going to be able to news straddle these guys. Oh, and we're done on the trade. Look at that. Look, while I was buying, that trade realized itself. So now we're close. As I said, I'm looking for I need to go to the 600. So we're going to try and trade this account as best as we can towards the 600 level. The new version in TradingView, all you got to do, Clean Saber, you should, if you have access now, you should have access always. All you got to do is just delete and reapply. Delete and reapply. Okay. So just delete it from your thing and apply the indicator on there. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, so basically, what were we talking about before Apex? I totally lost my train of thought. Oh, I know. So I was showing you the calculator. I was showing you the calculator. So I can go to 6 levels, right? You only see me gone to 2 so far, but I can go to 6 levels before I blow enough money. That's cumulative. Blow enough money to trigger a daily loss limit. So that's a lot of levels. And obviously, at one size and doing 20 of these sequences a day, I'm at about 84 a day. Takes me 19 days to fund. And actually, this is on 10 accounts. Again, this is all modeling. This is in no way, shape, or form a future reality. It's just an estimation, but it uses the best possible statistical analysis, Monte Carlo analysis, binomial analysis to figure out what's the realistic chance of you taking 10 accounts to pay out. This shows you it's a 9.6. I basically always degrade it by at least a half. So realistically, 5 out of my 10 accounts could go to payout if I follow the strategy the way I do this at small size. Now you can go larger size. You're going to get blown out faster, but you're going to get funded faster. So there's a whole bunch of ways you can play this. And I'm going to run all the numbers with you guys tonight in coaching. If you want to come to coaching with me, here's the link. There's a link to coaching. And we're really going to deconstruct this. But the point is that it's a very, very solid approach statistically. And oh yeah, I guess I bought these accounts, so they all got added. So let me see what I have now. Let's make sure that we got them. Great. So we got the 15, 16s. And what else do I have? I have the 14 account, and I still have that one. That's another good one to have. Okay, fine. So we're going to have those accounts. Anyways, it's going to be a really interesting conversation. What are the points? So Carrick Castle, as I was explaining, maybe you weren't here at the 9 o'clock hour. The stop and target are always organic. This is what makes the setup so valuable, meaning that there is no fixed stop, there is no fixed target. It's always organic to the trade that you're in. What we're doing is we're using, so the trade that we were trading over here, the last trade that we traded, right? The entry, this was the stop. The stop was swing lows. It's always the lowest point between the signal candle. In this case, it's the orange, it's the pink selling candle and the trigger candle, right? It's always the lowest low when we're to the upside, and it's always the highest high between those two candles, right? So in this particular case, it's just the lowest point in this circuit or the highest point in a sell circuit. In this case, it was probably like, I think it was 14, 15, and we were targeting like 11, 12 to the profit. It's up to you how you want to create the ratio between profit and target. You can in that applet, it will show you. If you go for like 1.5 times risk reward, but very low rate, like even a 40% accuracy rate, you're still going to make a ton of money, because that high reward at larger scales really creates great. It recovers the P&L and pays for it. It's just a lot of it, frankly, is psychological. It's whether you're comfortable with that kind of you're comfortable losing lots and lots and lots and then winning big a few times, or you just want to kind of steadily win small, and not really get yourself into too deep a hole. I'm sort of in that camp trading, so I'm happy with a 0.7R type of a structure. But you can model them any way you like it, and you'll see exactly what the realistic scenario is, both of you making money, how much money you can make per day, and how many accounts you can get to target. Simon is asking me, will straddle work on the intraday drawdown accounts? Yeah, that's going to be, that's really the, that's really the challenge, my friend. It really is. We know we had an issue last time where it really got tough, because if it works if we have a unidirectional move. So we need to get really tight, maybe even like 15, 20 seconds before the roll, and hope that we don't have a drop and pop, that we have a unidirectional move in one way or the other. So it's a good point. And sometimes what we did was we actually had an account in reserve, and when the move happened, we actually joined that move, because sometimes after the news is released, there's enough unidirectional flow in a direction of the news that you can make it. A lot of it is just really like it's always a punt. It's always a punt. It's become a harder punt. You're right, but it's still one of the best ways to just get it one and done, in terms of sizing the account and getting the point target right. Because a 10-point move in the ES or a 30-point move in NASDAQ off of news is very doable. You just need to, just get the unidirectional move right. But legit point. I mean, they make it much harder to to get the account going. The cool thing is, though, the other thing is that, let's say maybe you're not full, you're not one and done. Maybe you just sort of look one and partial. Let's say you're at 25 and you get it to 26. You can just take the, let's say you didn't take the full funded, you just take the partial in there. You can absolutely use this strategy from 26 to 26.5 is very, very, very doable. This strategy will get you there as long as you use small size to start with. It may take 5-10 days, but you can move your account from quasi-funded to fully funded with this strategy quite easily. All right, we got about 3 minutes to the open, so we'll just stay tight. I would this is a viable trade strategy. This is the reversal yellow to the green dot by this with a stop underneath here, but I don't want to do this in front of the news. Although I was pretty confident that would have worked as a trade. No, you're not able to straddle with Ola. I don't know what. I actually don't even know Ola's. I mean, nobody really is allowed to straddle anymore. We're not straddling. We're doing two similar assets, right? So we're doing ES against NASDAQ. That's what we're doing. So that also entails a little bit of risk. But the thing about, the reason why we do it with Apex is because it's just cheap accounts. I think you probably could do this in all the other accounts. Although, no, this is the other thing is a lot of the prop firms have limits on evaluation. Like Apex has no limits on evaluation. They give you lots of one and done is fine with them. Almost none of the other firms will let you do a one and done where you take one trade and get funded on the eval. They want you to work for it. Different philosophy. Apex's philosophy is we're going to make it easy on the eval, but much harder on the PAs. Other accounts have it much harder on the eval, but essentially the same level of difficulty on the PAs. We're not going to make it harder for you. So it all depends. I'm actually going to make a whole video on this because I think there's all these hidden rules of prop between Apex, Tradify, Lucid, Top Step. I'm not even going to bother with Top Step. But let's just take these three. There are just all these little hidden rules. They're right in plain sight, but you need to understand what they mean, what the implication of each rule means. I'm going to make a video on that. I think it's going to be pretty useful here. That's right, Keith. Everybody else has consistency rules on the evals, so they make it very difficult to do one and done. We are 30 seconds to the open and still putzing around. And just trying to. So English, you taught me a new word, TET. Turn at every trade, or trade is it turn at every trade? Is that what that stands for? All right, got a white dot. We're obviously just fronting the open. Boom. Really not a lot of, I was going to say not a lot of activity, but now we're finally getting a little bit of range. So we hit 69, we hit this. We're going to let these guys, do its thing, establish ranges. Astrologer probably eyeing the low of the London session as a thing he wants to play. But that may take a few minutes for us to resolve. We generally have very, not a lot of volume here. I also want to do Sam's footprint chart, like, create a, I'm going to do this maybe even tomorrow. Just take a look at the footprint charts, because Sam had some really interesting insights into how volume was affecting price. And very often he and I were in real agreement on direction, just looking at everything from two different aspects. But it's kind of, his analysis was really interesting. Not just because he was looking at the charts, but how he was interpreting the volume charts. And I think those are kind of, fun to do. But we, the good thing is with dots, we don't need to rely on anything else. We have a very clean, clear setup without complicating things. Astrologer, what are you looking to do? Are you looking to for the if they bust through the 28.7 to be a buyer there? So this is a typical opening rotation where we go up and down, up and down, up and down. Eventually, the market is going to try to figure out if it wants to run the lows or run the highs. We're basically at 28,700, 28,800 range right now to the top side, downside. No fresh news anywhere. Economic data mildly positive tomorrow, NFPs. So not a lot of inputs here. Already ran high up. So it needs more validation if it wants to go higher, or it's got some kind of a shocking surprise if it wants to go down lower. But it doesn't look like it's going to get either one, so we're just chopping. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing? Where's everybody coming from? Give me a hi. Let me know where you're trading from with me today. $28.7, you're a buyer. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Okie dokie. Quiet day today. All right, we're turning back up. Turning back up to the trade. I should be focusing more on this. Let's give. I'm late. I'm not going to chase this. I really wanted to take this. All right, let's buy this. So I'm basically buying underneath this white dot, but I'm going to be pretty cautious. Let me see if I can just take it out. Come on. Fuck it. I'm out of this trade. This is, wait, I was in a different account. It doesn't even count. This was my bullshit account. Okay. Sorry. I was, which account were we trading? Was it 50? It was the 50 account. All right. Anyways, doesn't matter. I butchered this trade. It wasn't even really a trade. I'm just, there was a possible turn trade here, but these were very kind of wide wicks. You're 44 to like 20-point wicks. I didn't want to risk that much. I'm just going to stay patient here a little bit, see how the market develops. But it would have worked. It would have worked for whatever it was. What was it? 59, about 10 points. You'd have had about 10 points. You could have had it. Okay. Sorry, I was a little bit distracted with some other stuff here, but we're super quiet right now. Not much flow. First half hour is always. This is the reason why I like trading the 8 o'clock hour. Look how many trade opportunities we had in the 8 o'clock hour, and now we're just going to sit here and probably twiddle our thumbs for the first half hour as the market, tries to fake everybody out left and right. So we will, we'll stay patient here on the moves. Yeah, GC popped. GC popped. I will focus myself on gold eventually. Well, here I can actually. This is cool with the buttons. I can actually look at gold. Look at gold. Yeah, gold was a great. Like actually, we should be trading gold as well. I just don't. I just need to get myself comfortable. But with Willis charts, it's actually super easy to flip back and forth. So this was a turn trade in gold. Yeah, it was a 40 to, well, there's a 10-point, risk here. It's a big risk, but it went 10 points up. Gold is actually a lot, God, wow. Gold is really nice and active. Like this is the price action we love. The big legs. Gold actually is showing the big turn legs that I want to trade. You guys are absolutely right. But I'm still sticking to my MNQ as trading. But you guys are absolutely right. Gold is actually the money trade for us to do. So we'll come back to it. There's plenty of opportunity. Plenty of opportunity to do this. But yeah, it's actually kind of really easy to flip around and in well charts with a single button move here. All right, yellow 2. I'd like to see yellow candle. So this is like a selling candle. And if it gets rejected, in other words, we close above the high of the yellow candle, we want to go long this particular trade structure with the stop over here, underneath 40. But that's a big if from here. Right now, we don't get that. The high on this is 66.50. So we got to close above 66.50 to give us a turn to the upside setup. All right, picking up steam here. Oof, big move. All right, we're in. We're going to be underneath this candle here. Wow, it's a big stop here. That's going to hurt if it comes back, but that's just part of the game. What's my risk? 32. So I got to go. Oh, wow, it's a big move here. All right, let's see if we can extend. $73 target is 92. This is basically a bet on the fact that we run towards a 28.8. We'll see if we can manufacture enough buying power to take us out there. Now we actually have a reversal signal here. No, not yet. Not quite yet. I'm gonna flatten myself out. I don't like this trade. I'm gonna flatten myself out and just do an override on this trade. If it goes higher, yes. But this feels like we died out, and I'm gonna do. I probably want to do a reversal trade here with a stop over here above the 780. All right, I'm in the trade. 780. See if we can get a downward move. Target is 34. Typical choppiness in the market. A typical 9 to 9:30 trap, which, we always, I always warn you against, or warn you about. And you just have to, either not trade this time, but I want to show you the trades, or just accept the fact that you're going to be churned out one way or the other, and just let the strategy kind of even you out. Even you out, despite you're basically making lots of unforced errors, and hope that you can resolve those errors on second or third attempts. But we'll see. It's definitely very, very choppy trade here. From the original trade, we're still actually holding. We actually did not break the stop of this yellow candle, so it could have been. But now we did. Now we did. Now we're coming down. There we go. Oh, good job. Good job. Okay. So I am like only $25 away from my 600 target, which, good. It hit. So that was good. So now I'll come back. I reset this to 1. Now I just want to hopefully we'll find a good turn trade happening. But I sensed that we couldn't hit the highs. I cut my losses short. I then reversed once I had a signal, and I was able to hold the signal, and and that worked out. We didn't need a lot of movement to the downside to be able to hit my target, because I had the size. A green artist says sometimes the move happens on NQS, then oil moves after that. Oh, that's impossible to know. Remember, every market is different. Every market has different participants. So you're going to have different reasons. I mean, it could be just that somebody's trading correlation, somebody is not. But look at this. Now you always want. Now you wish now you wish you would have held more, because you would have been so much deeper. Now it did show. So here's the cool part about the turn trade structure is, as I said to you, if you're patient and you are disciplined, it will show you the way. It may just frustrate you with a couple of false undulating moves, but it will eventually show you the way. In this case, it was a pretty easy show here in terms of the move. That was a big drop, man. Now you wish you had. I wish you had like the full R, because that would have taken us straight to target. But it's fine. It's already the second account. Hopefully that we get to target, and then we just keep going with the moves. Coming into London session low, astrologer, getting close, right? Bounced ahead at the 7/10. I wonder if we're gonna really test the lows here before we make a turn, or whether this is the turn. I wonder how much longer we get. We get the blue candle. Oh, you got that drop on the full R. Good for you, Ben. Good for you. You're more patient than I am. That felt good, huh? Was that a second cycle for you or the first cycle for you? Did you reverse with me on the second cycle? Astrologer is set to go. Astrologer is loading up his 28 690s. So about a 70, 80 point sell-off. Sorry, Ben, I'm confused. That was your third cycle? You had a 2x loss on the first one? Good morning. Who's new in the chat here? Come say hi to me. Who's watching us for the first time? Having a good time. Right, so that was 3x. That's what I'm asking you. That was your third cycle. You did 1x, 2x, 3x. That's what I'm just trying to establish. Good morning, IP or JP Zone. JP Zone NYC. Are you in New York? Yeah, so it was a 3x cycle. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Good for you. 3x cycle at R, and you nailed it. Good for you. Nice to have you. I am in the city as well. Blue candle here, signaling a potential bottoming for us here. We're not moving until we get a white dot on the move here. But this is, it's the thing I hate about this kind of turn here is it's super choppy and super deep. Like, to come in here, you're looking at 20, 30 points worth of turn risk here. So I don't know if I want to do this. On the other hand, I may just simply use the lows that are blue as my turn risk. We need a white dot to kind of confirm the turn yet. We don't have that. We'll see. Ridgewood. That's Jersey, man. That's not New York. Is it Ridgewood, New Jersey? So this is it's an interesting trade here, depending on how I'm not that bullish. So how convinced you are, how convicted you are. That's always my convicted is like right after axe. So you see this purple candle over here? That's the lowest low, right? We actually broke that. Like you could make this a trade. I could make this a trade. I could be in at 50 with a stop at around 21. It's a 30-point stop. And try to trade that turn. Matter of fact, you know what I can do now? I can buy this over here with a much smaller risk. I'll probably eat this risk, because usually if it's that far deep, I'm going to be eating the risk. But maybe not. Come to Poppy. There we go. Look at that. 595. Almost. That was actually an interesting approach to this. So what I did was I really did not like buying I did not have any faith that this was going to be a big breakout candle, but it was a turn, right? We broke the purple. we had the blue here. The low over here was relatively reasonable, so I got lucky a little bit on this chop and drop. But we know now I'm within five of my target, which is actually probably good enough, which means I can go to a new account. Let's go to a new account. Let's go to the 48 and try to run this one to the 600. Because the whole idea is I want to rotate profit, rotate profit, rotate profit. I don't want to get hung up on any one account, because that's going to, the longer it's like, all right, I'm not going to make any more, no more misogynistic comments. So I will keep my mouth shut about staying too long. But you want to keep moving. You want to keep moving, baby. Orange with queens. Oh, nice. Okay. Queens. Okay. Nice to have you in the room. Do you trade futures? If you do, so here we go. So this is actually the full turn now, right? This is the full turn now. This kind of gave you the white dot. I sort of, missed the entry here. Let it, we'll let it play out. Again, big risk here. I'm looking at a 19 to, it's like a 40-point risk, but fuck, it's working. Should have taken this trade. Look at this. I'm pushing out on my own setup. Blue to white, definitely working as a reversal candle. I should have taken the risk. It's just that I don't like taking really like 30, 40. I don't like to take more than a 30-point risk on any one of the turns. Just because if I'm wrong, I gotta. It's a lot of money, a lot of ground to make up. Oh. Well, ultimately, every American is from New York, right? Everybody came through Ellis Island, one way or the other. But yeah, that's why I kind of passed up on it. But this would have worked for us. It would have been in. This would have been a 20. This would have been a nice clean run. It's just a matter of do you want to eat that big risk? And that's the other great thing about the setup is the setup. Because it's defined risk, you can really see it. Good for you, Keith. Good for you. Keith nailed that trade. So, Keith, were you coming in on the white dot? Did you take the white dot and then you took like 20 points off the thing? You guys are trading better than I am at this point. Exactly. English, you nailed that trade. Good for you. Look at this fucking reversal. God damn it. I totally missed it. Motherfucker. Look at this. going straight session highs. Okay. So, as beautiful as my setup was, I missed on this one particular trade. But I hope many of you guys took it, which is really what it's all about. I really, it's about you guys making money and me cursing at the screen. That's the basic dynamic of this room, right? Classic dot trade. Exactly. Classic dot trade with a turn kicker inside of our play here. Yeah. Oh. Yep. 2,800. And this is what I mean about every trend is a turn. I did not think we're gonna bust out that hard. It totally took me by surprise. But that would have been great entry. All right, now we chill. Now we look for either continuation trades to the upside if we start getting yellow to breakouts, or maybe exhaustions here. London session highs. Astrology, are you looking to short the London session highs here around the 810s? Could be, right? At least we woke up a little bit here. I traded it well. So those of you who are new in the room here, who just joined me, it's the 10 o'clock hour. Time for me to kind of give you a very, very short summary of exactly what we do. We trade turns. And sometimes there's lots of turns. Sometimes it takes, an hour or two. The turn in our structure is very cleanly defined. If you're going to go to the upside, We want a blue candle, white dot. This is a classic turn. The reason why we love doing that is because there's a clean, clear stop. That means we know our risk completely. And because we know our risk, we can define our reward. We usually, most people trade with a 1 reward. I trade with a 0.7. It all depends on how you want to, how you want to structure the accuracy of your trades, and then more, and just sort of like your own personality of the kind of trades you want to do. Hang on a second. How do I remove? Okay. But this is where it gets interesting. That's just the beginning of our strategy. If we are correct, great. We make money, move on. But if we are wrong, let me find a shit. I want to find a bad example. I can't find a bad example. God damn it. Where's the bad example? All right, here's a bad example. All right, let's just, okay. So blue, we're going to take the white to the upside. Stop is going to be over here, and we get stopped out right over here, right? We're stopped out of the trade. That's not the end of our story. That's just the beginning. So now we're stopped out at 1x size. We look for the next trade. In this particular case, the trade that we're looking for sets up the other way around. We have a yellow candle followed by a red or a purple dot. That's our negative turn trade to the bottom. So between these two candles is the high. That's our natural stop. We're in over here. That's our risk. And then we do 1 times risk or whatever it is, and boom. Now we're at 2x. And we can keep doing this over and over and over again, all the way up to maybe even 5x. As I said to you, I have a whole simulator here that can tell you exactly how bad you can, how far you can press it before you blow the account for the day, because we're using Apex funding rules, and gives you probabilities of success. This is how many accounts will get paid out if you follow this strategy of this particular size and this particular parameters. Again, this is just a modeling calculator, but it's really useful in giving you expectations of how things work, right? So now we have a yellow candle, which is the pause. Hey, while I was yapping, astrologer, did you short the 810s? You said not yet. That must have been like a few minutes ago. You didn't short that? Oh no, because I guess it wasn't full London highs. So 15 was the highs, but it kind of died right in front of it. Oh man, I really need an espresso now. Now that I'm going to do 3-hour sessions with you guys, the espresso machine is going to come on this desk. For sure. I definitely need it. All right, here we go. This is a reversal buy. If this is a yellow candle too, it's hard to see it, but trust me on this tiny little yellow candle. The price closes above the high. We're going to go long with a stop underneath here. That's going to be our natural stop. If and only if we can rally it up, we can get it up. It needs to close above basically 89. It's got to close 89, which is doing 8 seconds left. If it holds 89.90, it's a trade for us. It is a trade. We're long. We're underneath here, and we want to try and make this over here. Maybe get the extension to like through the 800s. Let's see. Where did this close at? 92, yeah. Basically, visually, what we're trying to do is trade turn momentum with the help of our indicators and the structure of the market. on a multi-attempt level. You're waiting to get into the 2810 range? Well, hopefully we're going to get there soon. I'm hoping to get into 2810 range also. All right, come on, come to Poppy. Let's go, baby. Another stall in front of the 2800 level. We'll see. It might get rejected, and there might be a turn to the to the downside. Let's see. We'll stay patient with the trade. Clearly a battle here. They want to run the 2800s. I have a feeling if they run the 2800s, they're going to run it hard to probably the 20s. But not able to hold it yet. Let's see. 26 seconds. Big battle in the marketplace. There we go. Got lifted. Another cycle resolved. And you kind of see, even with me fucking up, I mean, that was like 60 points worth of trade here that I should have had. But you see how it just builds the green. This is my job. My job is to build the green, right? Here's the green. Where's my green? Ugh, get the fuck out of here. Here's the green, right? I'm just building the green across all these accounts. And, this is just trading with you guys. Once I'm by myself, I'm hoping that I'm going to build all of this more and more. And you do this every day until you get to payout level. And it's nice and steady, gets you Freddy. I hope you like it. I mean, I'm putting together like a nice, clean, explanatory landing page with the full simulator on here for you guys. It's gonna show you the whole structure, which will allow you to configure your own possibilities of how you want to have your success journey. But all of this is going to create a very, very interesting way for you to trade that I think is the most important part, is that it's very cleanly defined. There is nothing here that's ambiguous, right? Anybody take that trade with me? Now look at that. I told you they're going to run the 2000. I should have held more. My biggest personal barrier is that I make my R too small. I need to make my R bigger. But one thing at a time. Miguel Toriador. Good job. Cheryl. Oh, you guys have been super quiet today. Did I fake you guys out with an 8 o'clock start today? Everybody was like, ugh. What the hell is Boris doing? Yep, there it is. English. We took the highs. We really ran the highs. I mean, and this is why the turn trade is so good, right? It really gives me. Oh, look at this. Look at my little chicken scratch here. I mean, this is what I mean about clean, definitive turn trades. It's so easy to understand and see it on our charts. Yellow gets rejected to the upside. This becomes the turn trade. This is the stop. This is the turn trade. We're up over here. And of course, the risk, the risk here was what, 93 to, it was like a, wasn't even a, it was like a 23 point risk. And the reward was actually like 2 times that, if you were able to hold it. I held mine to 0.7 risk, basically to right around here. But the point is that this type of structure, we see this all day long, and the indicator picks it up really nicely, really, really nicely. And that's the whole idea. You took a loss in the London trade? Yeah, it ran right through it. It just blew, today was a day where it ran the London trade completely, which happens. Oh, man, I'm trying to remove this now. Remove 5 drawings. Yeah, there we go. So fresh session highs, 2,800. The market, the market is relentless. I want to see NASDAQ go 30,000. Man, will that make people apoplectic. If the bears see 30,000 on NASDAQ, I don't think you'll ever see people lose their shit more than that. That would be just incredible. We're not that far away, but that would be crazy. Yes, trading small is the key thing. Trading small is always the key thing. But this is what I'm trying to tell you. When you see in the simulator how trading small gives you so many errors. Like, in other words, you have your margin for error is huge. That's what I was just thinking, by the way. Like, you know how like when you get pissed and you're like, I'm going 10 NQ, I'm just going to go large size. And then you take the trade, and the trade actually works. Like, the trade does go in your direction, like thousands of dollars in your direction, but you are stopped out. Why are you stopped out? Because of the, of Apex rules and everybody else's rules. Even the tiniest, like 5 points against you, like the tiniest of retrace at that size, boom. Whereas when you're small, you can really absorb huge amounts of adverse price action and adverse, adverse patterns, and still come out ahead because you have another chance and another chance and another chance and another chance. That's the key thing. That's why, I'm a big proponent of small trading, small and frequent trading versus large and in charge trading. All right, I'm gonna have to book today at 10:30 because I'm getting tomorrow. No, on Friday. Sorry, on Saturday for Prop Fest. By the way, everybody come to Prop Fest, right? I hope everybody is on the show. I hope you guys all registered. I'm going to be talking to Daryl and AJ and Brett from Tradify. So it's really going to be interesting. So I got to. Daryl is the founder of Apex. Brett's founder of Tradify, and AJ of Lucid. So it's going to be really a lot of fun to come talk to them. We're going to see what they have to say about where the industry goes next. So if you want to come hang out with me. Yeah, and prop, you're really trading the drawdown. That's exactly it. You're just trading the drawdown. That's exactly it. You're actually watching the losses, not the wins. The wins accumulate as a natural byproduct of trades. You're just watching the losses. That's exactly it. That's why I actually did not repeat this in the 10 o'clock hour. I can't repeat this enough, guys. The single greatest insight to how this trading turned so positive so fast. Do you know what it was? I said this in the 8 o'clock hour when there's just like 3 people hanging out with me today. Let's see if you guys can guess. What is the single greatest change that turned everything profitable for me? Type your answers in the thing. Well, Carlos, you can register, and if you pay $10, all of which is going to go to charity, we're raising money for charity. You'll get the full event that you can watch on demand. So it's not like you're going to miss the demand. It's live, but you can have all the videos in perpetuity. You know, with just a $10 donation for mental health month. Last time we raised over $10,000 for vets and St. Joseph's. This time we're doing it for mental health month. So it's not a problem that you have grandkids activities. You're not going to miss. Just register and make sure you get the videos, and then everything will be sent to you. Good question. All right, so I want to see trading small and switch. Oh, that's your guess. Keith was trading small and switching accounts. No, that's not what absolutely changed me from profit to. That was good. These are all good rules, but that's not. There's one thing I did that absolutely changed me from loss to profit. Anybody want to guess? Keep guessing. It's pretty simple. It's pretty fucking obvious. But it was astounding when I kind of realized it. And it's the only way I was able to do it was because it's within this structure. Because psychologically, I'm completely at peace doing it this way. Anybody else? Come on. Everybody in the room now. Let's see some guesses before we go. What do you think was the one thing I did that totally changed this whole setup from pure profit? Not cycle trading. You know, those are all good guesses, but it's not. It's actually much simpler. It is much, much simpler. Let me trading small. All those things are very good. Mental capital. Those guys are all answering. Hang on a second. Let me Google this. Let me show you. What was the one thing I did? Oops, shit. Where's my thing? God damn it. Here it is. Okay. I'm gonna need the boomer glass for this because you guys can't see it. What's the one thing I did that completely changed my trading? I stopped averaging into a position. One size, one entry, that's it. That's it. Losers, average losers. He was right 30, 40 years ago, and he's right today. I tested it all out. It is absolutely true. For the one trade you win, you're going to lose all the others. You're in, let it win, or let it lose. Come back on the next trade. Losers, average losers was literally what changed every one of these trades. Because here's what happens. You're coming in, you're like, oh, you know, I know it's gonna come back. I'm gonna add. Oh, I know it's gonna come back. And pretty soon, that single trade is now at 4x, 5x times. So basically, in that one single losing trade, you have given up 4 opportunities to resolve it. 4 opportunities to resolve it in the structure that I'm trading, right? You've basically wasted the 4 opportunities to resolve your trade by squandering all in one single trade cycle, which is almost by definition would be like 95% stop out. Doesn't matter what you do. Kind of interesting, right? Was it, I'm trying to see if there was any news here, but no news. Just a little spiky. Let's see what we got here. Maybe there's some news. U.S. sanction officials over Iranian sales, blah, 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 elevated inflation, nothing. No, nothing really interesting. Okay. Isn't that interesting, though? It was literally the only thing I did. Trading the V, yeah. Well, all of those things are part of the setup. But the one thing I did, yeah, you can say that's revenge trading. Yes, in many ways, revenge trading is what creates that vicious cycle. Yes, but it's just much simpler than that. And the only reason I can do this, it's not like that there's some kind of super mental power that I have. The only reason I do this is because I know that this loss is not my last loss. I know that, or it's not the last word in that trade. I know that I have an opportunity on the next setup cycle. So what this does is it creates a natural circuit breaker in terms of my entries. I don't just machine gun into a losing trade. I let it resolve. Doesn't work, I let it resolve. I go again when it sets up, and even if that doesn't work, I know I have 3 or 4 more hits in my ammunition. Okay, we're kind of stalling. I want to see if we get do we have a yellow to purple sequence here, or or we're gonna just it's a stall that refreshes higher. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Right now we got nothing going on. Nice big pop move that we took a piece of. This is a piece we should have had. We should have had this piece, and now we had the other piece. But then we only took 1 out of 2. Not too bad. I'm still keeping everything green. Things got really, really slow all of a sudden, right? Really quiet. Align with trend, all those things are true, but it's the money management thing. Because this is the thing. It's not that any of those things, everything you're suggesting is incorrect. It's just that what I was doing was the one wrong thing that sabotaged everything. Right? That is the one wrong thing. Every single blowout account was the result of that. We'll talk about that in coaching a little bit, later tonight. But that was the single biggest crush. English, you're pressing. You're just really pressing the momentum here. English is calling all the upward moves, and he's right. We're pushing through the 80, 60. It's just been a very, very strong momentum move. And if you're not this is the interesting thing. So this is what I want to tell you. The bad part about my setup is it's not going to chase this trend all the way, right? So you may be giving up 100 points of just uninterrupted movement. But the good part is anytime you have a parabolic move, you will always have a corrective wave. It may not be now. It may be a fake out wave. It may be another fake out wave, but there will eventually be a really meaningful corrective move. And the way my setup is structured is that even if I'm wrong on the first one because of a limited stop, because of a fixed stop, I can absorb a fixed stop, a fixed stop, a fixed stop, and then a boom on the third or the fourth wave when we're really crushing it down. You can collect all that reversal. So we may go to 28.9. We may even go to 29, but then it will. Look at that. There you go. English. It's really pushing. It will have a massive corrective move, and you're going to be able to pick it up from that point on. So you got to know, what you're trading and why what you're trading has real control, right? Like, we've had just a big move. I let this trend go because we don't chase trends, and I'm basically waiting for an intelligent turn entry. It may take me a while. And the difference between an intelligent turn entry and the typical thing that we all do is like, oh, it's an extension candle. Let me short this. Let me short this. Let me short this. And eventually, you're bankrupt because it's going to go 4, 5, 6, 7 out before it finally corrects. But if you are going to be doing high, just kind of what I call stupid shorting, at least you can do it with some control. So, you short this with a stop above the highs. Boom. So you stopped out. You short this again with a stop above the highs. You short this. This is the highs. So now your 3x over here, your stop is over here. You caught the reversal. You actually probably would have been able to collect and pay yourself on this move. It's just not I don't like doing this because it's kind of stupid. You got to go 3, 4, sometimes 5 deep into a trade. I'm only trying to do 1 or 2 deep into a trade so that I can be tactically, I can preserve my risk as well as I could. But anyways, lots of different ways to trade this. Oh, we have a turn to the upside. This is a bullish reversal with a stop over here at the 56 level. It's a pretty big stop, but interesting trade here. Let's watch this. Let's give it a shot here. I gotta go, so I'll see if I really want to trade this. All right, I'm in the trade. See if we can get a little bit of a move here, extension move here to the highs. So this is the turn trade here. Yellow gets reversed to the upside. I'm holding this natural stop. It works, it doesn't work. I'll take the next turn to try to resolve it. But it's a decent looking trade. We'll see if we can get move back up to the highs here to the 900s. And if it doesn't, then that means that we may have hit a natural top here. We can try to trade the reversal on it. We'll see. We'll give it a shot. All right, I'm gonna see if I can just get a quick exit on this thing. Oh, there we go. I just got a quick exit because I got to run, guys. But again, my target is to get this to the 600. Hopefully by the end of the day, I get to the 600. That's the third account. I get to the 100. I have 5, and that's the game plan. You just kind of, zone in, run it. Do the same thing tomorrow. Do the same thing on every day, and that's how you get to target. That's how you get to 26.6, and you're good to go. Anyways, I hope you guys had a fun time today. Today was clearly a much more productive day on the P&L front than yesterday, where I tortured you to death. But it was worth it because out of it came out the whole, turn to sequence trade, which is what I was trying to verbalize yesterday, but I couldn't quite do it until I thought about it. You have these last 2 candles as yellow on TradingView. These 2 candles on TradingView? I'm not sure what you mean. These are the yellow candles. This is the white. Carlos, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with me. Really, really fun session today. I hope you guys liked it. I like the long sessions. The only thing I need to add is an espresso machine next to my desk. But long live the turn, right? Long live the turn. Everybody had a great time. You have a yellow after the whites. You know what? Hang on. Let me because I'm using kind of a modified indicator on my thing. Let's do this. Hang on. Let me do the dots only on here because you guys are all saying this, and I'm wondering if come on, what the fuck's going on here? Come on, Jesus Christ. Okay, dots only. Let's do this. I'm gonna plop you up. No 2 yellows on the dots only. I don't know what you're getting. You're saying these 2 are yellows? They're not yellows on mine. Are you using micro e-minis? Maybe using the big one. This is a thing, guys. The big one will give you a different. Let's take a look at the big one. They are different. No, the big one is also the same. Because a lot of times the big one will give you the wrong the wrong data set. No, they're both good. I don't know. I don't know what you're seeing, but it seems to be good. At 9:23, 9:24. That's early. 9:25. This is a yellow. Yeah. What are you talking about over here? We're on East Coast time right now, so it's 10:29 for me on my thing. Oh, by the way, here's that's interesting. So, this move to the upside had a little bit of an extension, whatever we caught. But by the way, now, okay, watch this. Now, for those of you trading, I got to run. But if this holds, if this is a purple dot, this whole circuit is a turn trade the other way. So you short here at 70, stop at 95. You're trying to target the move to the downside. Oh, your central time. Yeah. So it's 10:23. So this is 23, 24. That's correct. They're both yellows. So that's all correct. You have the right thing. I don't know what you mean. Now they show yellow on mine. They were showing yellow on mine too. They were always yellow on mine. All right, this is short, guys. Just letting you guys know. This is short against a 95 stop, fixed stop. Targeting depending on what the R is, but probably where are we in 67, 50. You got to be targeting like at least 50 on the move here. So hopefully it works. I'll leave it to you guys. I think it should be a pretty good trade. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot easier to trade these kind of more leisurely turn trades, and you can see how they're P&Ling. So I hope you guys really like it. All right, everybody. Again, last pitch for coaching. If you want to come coaching with me today, here's the coaching link, and last pitch for Prop Fest. And please come in. And last pitch for Apex. Do not forget that Apex stops the 90% discount tonight. Go get some Apexes tonight, please. Just like I did. We're going to trade them tomorrow. Even if we can do partial runs, it's still going to be worthwhile for us to get those accounts funded. Okay. All right, everybody have a great, wonderful day. I see everybody tomorrow, 8 o'clock for the NFPs, 8 o'clock. Okay. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.